Ken.
How you doing?
What you doing with my little tractor?
Well, it's like share alike.
You can play with it.
I learned to drive on a tractor this size. In fact, the neighbors would come in to help us thrash. One of the neighbors had a tractor just almost perfectly identical to this. I don't think it was a Jubilee model, but all the gear structure and everything is exactly the same as I remember. They'd put me up on here when I was just a little kid. And they'd say, just put it in first gear now. I figured out what first gear was right off the bat. They says, all you got to do is sit there and steer it. I thought I was in high cotton. At the end of the day, they gave me 25 cents.
Wow.
For driving the tractor while they threw the shocks of wheat, the sheaves of wheat on the wagon. And we'd take them to the thrashing machine. But when we were in the field, I got to drive. I got to drive a little Ferguson, a little Ford, and I also got to drive a Ferguson. Those were the two tractors that were popular in our community at that time. That's
a couple years ago?
60-some years ago, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd like to say today how grateful I am for my heritage. You know, the way I was raised and the environment in which I was raised in and the people I was raised with. You know, if we wanted something to do, we went and drove the tractor. And Dad would put something worthwhile behind it for us to drive, pull it. I mean, we were able to turn work into a bit of a pleasure. I didn't have video games to play. My dad bought me a horse. Of course, I had to go get the cows every night. So guess what? The horse not only was something to have fun on, but it became something to work with, a tool for me. And here I am at 71 years old, going way back to when I was 6 and 7 years old. That's when I started driving one of these. What happens to our children when they're young has a lifelong impression upon their heart and their soul and their mind. The Bible says, train up a child in the way it should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. I got to admit, there's times I wandered from the old path. But I thank God for the prayers. I thank God for the plans. I thank God for the purpose that my mom and dad had in raising me. And that they pointed me down a narrow pathway. And when I didn't like it and became rebellious, they said, the choice is up to you. If you live here, if you eat here and live here, you work here. You know? And he says, we go to church 3 times a week here. If you get to the place where you don't like that, it's a big world. You're welcome to move. I thought, oh boy. I did. 15 years old. And I left home. I'd just like to say to you today that if I had a memory that I could recreate, it would be on that old farm with the little tractor, my neighbor friends around, riding my horse. In that little town of Ivanhoe, when I would ride my horse down through the town, everybody would cheer. I mean, literally everybody. We had to take the cows right down through town to another farm to pasture them every day. And so we exposed them to cars, to trucks, business places. and I was on my horse. People would cheer they'd see me driving the cattle with my horse. I remember one time they were introducing me at a Christmas play, and Harry Lovabond was the MC. Now, I'm just a kid, and it's the very first time I'm getting up in front of people with my guitar. And he introduced me as, I just thought, he introduced me as Ken Reid, the rootin' tootin' cowboy from Ivanhoe. What an introduction. But if I just could have 1 week and go back to those days and to relive just a week, just a week. In my mind, I can do that. In reality, I can't. But in my heart and my mind, I'm very grateful for the lessons I learned on that old farm. Train up a child in the way they should go. And when they become older, they will not depart from it. I don't know what to tell people who their kids have gone astray and rebelled. I don't know. I don't want to put any blame on anybody. Not in the least. All I can say, my mom and dad must have done something right, because all of my siblings are serving God. You know what a blessing that is? You can say that too, Charlotte.
I can.
Go ahead.
And I'm also reminded of that verse that says that we are supposed to tell our children and their children about the faithfulness of God through all those years. How are they going to know about the miracles in our lives and the times that the Lord was present if we don't tell them?
Isn't that true?
Yes. We not only need to train up our children, but then we need to tell them when they're older, over and over.
Over and over.
Their children as well. The faithfulness of God.
The faithfulness of God.
And He has been so faithful.
You know, at our home, I know they did it. We didn't have a choice. When we were done eating, Mom and Dad got us down on our knees for prayer.
Mm-hmm.
If you can imagine that.
That's right.
On our knees.
We read the Bible first.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a family.
And and then we all prayed.
Mm-hmm.
Sparking a lot of memories in people's minds out there. I know it is.
Mm-hmm. We don't have time for that nowadays, do we?
I don't know what the reason is. I think you're right on to something there. But I know one thing. Whatever has robbed us of it, it's too bad. It's too bad. And I'm not saying there's no hope. I don't want to be negative. I just hate being a negative person. I want to be positive. Bloom where you're planted. Take a picture right there. Right there. Bloom where you're planted. If you've been planted in a vineyard of being a grandparent, and you wish you have done better with your first go around with your own children, somehow in the middle of all that you have found a new way with Jesus Christ and with a church that cares, bloom right where you're planted and make a difference there with your grandchildren. If you're a young couple, I guarantee you, if you want your kids to follow Christ, find a good church and get them in church. Get them close to other Christian kids. Get involved in a community of Christian people. Just wanted to tell you that as I was driving the old tractor around.
Ken, I think for those who are still praying for their children who have wandered from the Lord,
yeah,
it might be that you won't even see the fruits of your prayers in your lifetime.
Yeah.
But, you know, those are our kids' choices. We can't make those choices for our kids. They might not be doing what we want, but our responsibility is to be faithful praying for them.
That's right. Please know I'm not trying to put any guilt on anybody. I hope I didn't sound like that.
No.
That's not what my goal is.
No.
My goal is to give you hope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen entire families come to know Christ.
Mm-hmm.
and say things like, look what we've missed all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look what you got in on.
Mm-hmm.
Amen? So don't ever give up. I just was kind of reminiscing about the old days, wherein the good paths are. There'll be a lot of people out there that'll identify with that.
But we're in good days now.
You bring everything up to date. You put a positive spin on.
Well, we are.
Yeah, we are.
We are in good days.
These days have a lot of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'll just start Charlotte's tractor up. You say, well, how come it's Charlotte's? Well, we might just well finish the story. Charlotte's grandfather had a little tractor this size. I think it was a Ferguson. Not sure it was a Ferguson or a Ford.
My sister said it's a Ford, so I'm
Okay.
not sure.
We'll go with that then. But when Charlotte would go and visit their place when she was a little girl, her and her sister Barbara, their grandpa Lickley would get them on his knee and they'd have a chance to drive the tractor.
So I remember sitting on his knee one day, driving the tractor, promptly drove it right in the ditch.
You did?
I did.
In the ditch?
I was just a wee
What
little
has
girl.
changed?
I was just a wee little girl. Grandpa just sort of shuffled me to the other knee and drove it back out. Then he let me steer it again, and I felt like you, like I was just on top of the world.
Yeah.
I loved driving this power thing underneath me. I thought that was amazing.
And your leg's almost to the place after your operation where you got on the other day, but when your leg gets a little stronger, before the summer's over, we'll get this one conquered.
Yeah,
okay?
I can't drive it yet, but I'm going to.
That's it. That's it. Okay?
All right.
So, hey, we've had a nice time chatting together this morning. And, take time to ride the tractor. Take time to reminisce. Take time to pray for your kids. Take time to get the joy out of, don't let life suck the joy out of you. Take time to suck the joy out of life. Okay? And have a good day. Know you're loved. Thanks for the comments and those that check in and for those who say they watch it. Meeting new people all the time. And I just appreciate that. For all of the listening audience, thank you for being a part of Rise and Shine Ministry, which is a ministry out of Mountaintop Ministries. Charlotte will tell you where that is. We'd love to see you. A neat thing happened over the weekend, really special. This is what we'd really like to see. I'm doing Rise and Shine 6 days a week, but we'd love it to be a drawing card. Tell the folks what happened.
I think you did tell them that this morning at the funeral, how we had a lady come and introduce herself. We had a funeral Sunday afternoon, I should tell you that. And a lady came and introduced herself and said, we feel like we know you. We watch you every day. And it was so neat to put a face to the comments. And thank you so much, Becky, for introducing yourself to us.
All right. So keep smiling, folks, and keep looking up, because Jesus is about ready to come back. See ya. Pastor Ken signing off.